Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Glow Theory podcast. I'm your host, Jay Marie, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about arrested development. Arrested development happens when our emotional growth gets stuck. It's often rooted in trauma, neglect, or patterns from childhood that was never fully processed. And that type of impact that is unhealed, it can ripple through your adult relationships, your sense of self, and even the way we handle everyday life. So, if you've ever felt like your emotions, your reactions, or your relationships are quite adulting the way that you expected, this episode is for you. And also, just if you want to be more insightful of this topic and understanding it, this is also for you. All right, so let's start with the basics. What does arrested development actually mean? So, in psychology, it refers to a halt or delay in emotional, social, or psychological growth. So, like, imagine a tree that stopped growing halfway up. The roots are there, the branches exist, but the tree never fully blossoms. That's what happens in some people's emotional lives. And unfortunately, most often this stems from early childhood experiences, which could be childhood trauma, neglect, inconsistent caregiving, or even extreme stress that can signal to the child's brain. And those signals being it's unsafe to grow right now. And with that response and that signal to the child's brain, parts of emotional development can freeze. This can also happen when sometimes a child has to take on more responsibilities too early, to which their emotions and their well being is often dismissed. So that can often cause them to stop trusting their own emotions and bringing that halt. And individuals who do have arrested development, it isn't their fault. It's an adaptation, it's a survival mechanism. And we can appreciate that the brain chooses to protect in certain ways. But what happens when you grow up and you're carrying those frozen patterns into adulthood? When you do, some examples may be you avoid intimacy because deep down you learn love could hurt. Or maybe you struggle with decision making because as a child your voice was never heard. Or you feel like everyone else is adulting perfectly while you're still trying to figure out the basics, like self validation or handling conflict. We're going to move on to signs of arrested development. So, how do you know if you might have arrested development and how it might be affecting you? Here are some of the common signs. So, number one, difficulty handling adult responsibilities, such as paying your bills or managing schedules or setting boundaries, may feel overwhelming. Number two, dependency for validation. You constantly need reassurance or approval from others because you never internalized your own sense of worth. Number three, challenges in relationship, fear of intimacy, codependency, or pushing people away when they get too close. Number four, emotional dysregulation, which is intense reactions or avoidance of conflict because healthy coping mechanisms were not fully developed. Number five, self sabotage patterns. Maybe you repeatedly make choices that prevent growth subconsciously because it feels safer to stay stuck. So, if some of these symptoms resonate with you, know that this is not a flaw. It's simply a signal. It's your soul asking for growth, for healing, and nurturing. We're going to move on to the psychological effects of arrested development. So, the effects of arrested development ripple through mental health and well being, such as your low self esteem. You may struggle to trust your own judgment or feel less than compared to others. Another example, anxiety and depression. Stunted growth can make life feel extremely overwhelming, like you're constantly feeling like you're behind. Another example, relationship struggles. You might pick partners who mirror your childhood patterns, repeating cycles over and over again until they're consciously addressed. And lastly, the last example is fear of intimacy or abandonment. So, emotional closeness can feel threatening because it reminds your inner child of your past vulnerabilities. But here's the key to this all, it's about recognizing these patterns. That is the first step towards healing. Awareness is growth in action, and every single tiny step towards emotional freedom are milestones your inner child has been waiting for. Another psychological effect that can happen from arrested development are poor coping mechanisms. So people with arrested development, they may rely on maladaptive coping strategies such as avoidance or denial or escapism rather than dealing with stressful events in a healthy way. But fortunately, this can all be healed and resolved through therapy and inner child work. So, we're going to move on to the healing and the growth aspect of this. So, what does healing look like? How do you reclaim that growth that was unfortunately delayed? Number one, therapy and inner child work, like I was just saying. So, working with a therapist or doing guided inner child exercises can help you reconnect with the parts of you that were frozen, that were stunted. Number two, build emotional resilience, which can be journaling, mindfulness, and practicing self reflection truly helps you process those early emotions and makes them safe again. Number three, healthy boundaries. Okay, so learning to say no, expressing your needs clearly, and protecting your energy crucially. Number four, conscious adulting. Okay, start small, take responsibility in a manageable way, make decisions with intention, and celebrate your small wins. Number five, last but not least, self compassion. This one is extremely important. You need to treat yourself like the child that you once were. Okay, be gentle, be patient, and be nurturing because growth truly is a process. It's not a race, it's not something you rush, it's something you need to take your time with. And that may sound gruesome to some people, but you're giving yourself a second chance to grow properly, to heal, to process emotions properly. Always remember that arrested development isn't a life sentence. It's simply just a chapter that can easily be rewritten. Your emotional maturity is yours to cultivate at your own pace. So I just want to start wrapping this up. This was a very short, cutesy episode. I hope this was insightful and reached and resonated the souls that it needed to. But my closing thoughts are is that arrested development isn't about blame. It's simply about awareness. It's about compassion and reclaiming that growth from trauma or neglect that caused you to pause. And remembering that healing isn't linear and it isn't quick, but every step forward is extremely powerful. So just embrace it, nurture your inner child, and give yourself permission to grow at your own pace, in your own way. So, thank you so much for listening today. This was a topic that was very, very tender to my heart because this was something I've had to work on these past couple years with a therapist, but it has done wonders for me. So, always remember growth may have been delayed, but it's never too late to blossom. So, if I can do it, sure as hell, y'all can do it too. So, until next time, I'll see y'all and chat with y'all in the next episodes. Bye.